I'm Patrick from Road Less Traveled. It's fall here in the Sierras. The colors are starting to change, the leaves are turning yellow, the grasses are very pretty, and it's getting a little cooler. That means a couple things for me. One is that I won't be mountain biking in this area in about a month because there'll be snow. And it's a good time for me to give you a little review of my thoughts on what's really needed for an eMountain bike. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. I'm really getting a lot of motivation out of that. And give me a thumbs up, and any questions or comments you have, please add them. I've got a request. At the end of this video, if you watch through the whole thing and you see what things I like about mountain bikes, I'd like your thoughts on what mountain bike I ought to get next. I mean an eMountain bike, because that's what I'm looking for. I just sold my last, I'll call it acoustic mountain bike. And it's one I bought about 2 years ago. I had really struggled with whether or not I'd sell it. I do have a gravel bike that I can ride, but for mountain biking, I really like having the e-assist. And so after watching this video, give me your thoughts on what bike you think I should get. And if I get it, I'll do a bunch of reviews on it and tell you what I think. I've had a good chance of riding several e-bikes over the summer, and in this terrain, which is mostly technical, mountainy, and twisty, it's pretty demanding. There are some things that I've found are really needed in a mountain bike. That's what I'm going to cover today. So let me get into the kind of things I like on mountain bikes. Now here we have a lot of mountains, as I mentioned. On an e-bike, going uphill is probably more fun than going downhill, and I didn't expect it to be that different, but it is. And so that kind of changes how the bike should be built. So some of my comments are related to that. It's also very technical, and my buddy and I ride pretty aggressively, so we put these bikes to the test.
I had to laugh because I'm going all out, breathing hard, and I hear you commenting in the back of the video. I'm like, oh my god.
So I ride a YT Decoy and a Canyon Spectral on. On the Canyon Spectral on, I have a 900 watt-hour battery, and on the YT as a 720. I really felt like I needed a 900 watt-hour battery for the mountains around here. But as it turns out, I really can wear myself out with the 720 watt-hour battery and get a full day's riding in. It's not the 5,000 feet of climbing and 35 plus miles I might get out of the canyon, but it's a good 25 and 3,000 feet, and it can be more if I just dial down the power level. So I can get a full day of riding in with it. So relating to the motor, I really like the EP801 versus the EP8. The EP801 is the newer version of Shimano's full power motor, and it has what is referred to as overrun, or a little more overrun than the EP8. It's not a lot. It maybe goes a meter, and I think there's an update that gets it to go a couple meters after you've let power off the pedal. Now for an e-bike, I think that's important because sometimes you're going up over steps or you're going up a rock, you're about to hit the pedal, you might have a pedal strike. With a light bike, you could probably pop it up onto that rock, but an e-bike's a little bit heavier, it's harder to pop up, and just having that wheel move for that split second longer gets you up over that rock and makes you feel like you're on a lighter bike. For me, the overrun is important. Pedals is something I've been experimenting with, and I have 3 different types of pedals. A race face pedal, which it's the Atlas, and it has pretty narrow pins on it, and I've come to realize I don't want to ride with that pedal anymore. It's really grabby, but it'll grab your skin, whether it's on the front of your shin or the back of your calf, And that is a bit dangerous, I think. It's got me to the point where I needed stitches. I didn't get them, but now I've got a scar. I'd rather not deal with that. I found some pedals that work. I'll show you those in this video, and I'll put the name down below. They're sort of a great medium. I also tried a set of pedals, and I've left them on one of my bikes that are made by Look, and it's a partnership with Vibram. And the idea there is the sole of the shoe is now the pedal. And you could wear spiky shoes, although I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I've thought about trying it. But at least in that case, you're not getting the spikes into your shin or into your calf if you make a mistake and pull that leg off and have the bike come up against you. One of our bikes, one of the Canyons, we replaced the forks and we put forks on there that only accommodate 27.5 inch wheel. So we changed the wheel out to a 27.5 inch. And initially we really liked it because it was nice and maneuverable. But we've come to realize that that wheel is a little bit harder to deal with in technical rocky sections. And will more easily wash out in turns. So my preference is a 29-inch wheel, and I think that is the standard on almost any mountain bike these days. Last year I got several flats and destroyed at least one tire because I wasn't running enough pressure in the tire. Part of that was because I wasn't checking the tire pressure every time I went out and rode. Another reason is I lost pressure because I didn't have enough pressure in the tire in the first place, and then it burped or let a little air out of the bead of the tire. And once that happens, then you're toast. And you hit another rock and you're going to get a flat. So I have been experimenting with tire pressure. I've been making sure to check tire pressure every time I go on a ride. And I've been lowering it until I've felt like I've got the right amount of control and I'm still not risking getting a flat. The tire pressures I have settled on is 22 psi in the front and 23 psi in the rear. And these are 2.5 inch tires. I weigh about 150 to 155 pounds fully loaded up. And so it would be different if you're heavier or using smaller tires. Suspension is something I invested in early in the year, and I'm really happy I did. I would do that on any future bike that I was to purchase. I would either make sure the bike came with it, like it did in my YT Decoy Core 4. And that has the Olin suspension, which I really like. Or I'd upgrade it if I bought a bike that didn't have the nicer suspension, which I did with my Canyon Spectral on. I upgraded that with a King Creek rear shock and some Fox factory 38 millimeter stanchion forks in the front. And for a full power, full fat e-bike, I think 38 millimeter in the front is the way to go, especially in rocky terrain. So one thing that gets a lot of abuse on these bikes, these e-bikes, especially the full power e-bikes, is the drivetrain. So I've come to appreciate a good drivetrain. Now what I've tried is the Hyperglide, which from Shimano, which typically comes on these bikes, and the Link Glide, which is a little bit more durable drivetrain. And I really like the Link Glide for its durability and ease of adjustment. Now I want to try some other options, and because I've really been noticing I've damaged cables and cable housing just from some of the terrain I'm riding through, and I'm really having trouble keeping things adjusted. If you have any thoughts on drivetrain and have any suggestions on what I ought to try next, please put it in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I've got some new videos coming up on adjustments to the bike, programming of the computer, and a few destinations I'm going to that you might enjoy.